We're at the Hotel Kilmore at the public meeting of the gathering. Paddy, there's a large number in attendance here, so you must be expecting a very positive outcome.
We're delighted. I mean, as you can hear in the background there, there's a great buzz and great sense of excitement. You can hear some fantastic ideas coming out through for events in 2013, and delighted with the response.
Well, this, as you say, is for 2013 and beyond. A follow-on from the success of the Cavan will need something to replace it.
Well, yeah, indeed. I mean, we're looking for probably a couple of headline events that would replace the FA. I suppose the reality is you could never replace the FA, but something that could take its place. And it's not just major events. We're looking for minor events that can take down at parish level. GA clubs that may look to set up their own club reunions, get people back. It's all about connecting with our diaspora abroad and getting people back into Cavan in 2013.
And with the economic climate that prevails at the moment, I suppose some industries are struggling, especially the hospitality thing, and this is a great opportunity for them.
It's a fantastic opportunity. I mean, the idea is nationally to get 352,000 extra visitors into Ireland, which would generate 170 million. And the bottom line in Cavan, we're looking to maximise our share of the market there.
Lots of ideas.
So there seems to be a very positive buy-in, judging on the number of people and are they from throughout the county?
It's spread throughout the whole county, from Cavan Town, Blackline, Kingscourt, Baileyborough, every town, Ballyconnell. There's been people from every section of the county is here, and all the major organisations, the GEA, the IFA, the ICA, the Scouts. I mean, every organisation has sent representations here tonight.
So the follow-on from this will be positive.
We're very much hoping so. We're going to go through the ideas, we're going to collate the ideas gathered up tonight, and we'll sift through them through our steering committee, and we'll be contacting everybody here in the next few days and seeing how we can take those ideas that have been generated tonight forward.
With Jackie in the Hotel Kilmore, you're chairperson of the steering committee for the gathering. A very successful night.
Well, first of all, the turnout is much greater than even our wildest dreams. So I think there's almost 200 people here, which is one of the biggest, if not the biggest yet, in any rural county, which is a great sign for Cavan, and it augurs well for next year. As you probably know, the gathering really is about us trying to get the people who left Ireland, or the people who have abroad for Ireland, back into the country next year. If you think about it, if 60 people visit the country, it creates one job. So this whole notion has a basis in our economic situation, but also I think in the whole way that we like to keep contact with our diaspora abroad. And Cavan people in particular have great connections with the Cavan people who are all over the world, through the Cavan associations. We meet a lot of them in our visits abroad. There's a lot of Cavan people out there, so there's a great opportunity for us here.
But possibly Cavan is also fortunate in that it had the flag goal in Ahern for the last 2 years, and this is the final year, and with crowds up to 300,000, Cavan has really been showcased worldwide.
Yes, I think it's given Cavan people abroad as well a sense of pride in the county, and some of them have come home every year, some of them have come home for 1 year of the flat. But I think there's so much to do now in Cavan, and if we can put on a great programme of events, which I'm confident we can do next year, and that's what tonight is about. It's about coming up with the ideas about what communities, what clubs might do next year, that those people will return again. If any idea in the world we're open to hearing it tonight, and I'm sure you'll be recording some of those ideas in a little while. It could be it might be as simple as you talking to your cousin abroad and getting them home. If every one of us brought home one person in the country, we'd have 4.5 million people visiting the country. Wouldn't that be incredible? Yeah?
Well, from the gathering here, I've noticed people from different parts. I'm native to Hill, and I've travelled the country in a previous employment, and I've noticed people from throughout the county here. So it's not just a Cavan initiative. It's from all the towns and villages throughout the county, so there's a great buy-in from people.
But I think actually it's the rural communities. I'd be very confident that they're really going to grasp the opportunity that's offered here, because I think rural communities, first of all, tend to be pretty united because everybody knows everybody. They also perhaps then are in a position, they might have an existing festival, for example, but why not make the festival a little bit special next year and bring home, just make a special effort. The local development association might decide to do something new or whatever. And then we might have one or two large events which we haven't even thought about.
So everyone can benefit, apart from the hospitality thing which we normally associate with festivals, with hotels, catering, B&Bs, but within rural communities, small events that people organise locally, maybe fundraising for a charity or fundraising for their own voluntary body. This can contribute getting people home through the gathering to their local events.
Well, I'll give you an example. I was coming in tonight and I saw the signs out for the Breffni Challenge, which is the great race, run stroke walk that's organised. It's for cancer, as you know, every year. It raises about €100,000 and it ends up in Arthur. But what happened if that committee said next year we're going to have our usual numbers, but we're now going to try and get Cavan people abroad who like to run or like to exercise. Simple things like that. They might get an extra 100 people to come. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
And also through the gathering with the publicity, it may even encourage more people to go. So maybe key events might be challenged throughout the year as key events, and it allow further development maybe through the gathering for people to take part in those.
Definitely. I mean, the hope would be that even the events might gather a bit of momentum for future years, and we are trying to look beyond the flag. It's very difficult to replace the flag because it's such a big event, but we have, I think we've raised the awareness of Cavan outside the county, and I think this is a really important part of us trying to maintain the momentum that has generated.
But also another initiative that's been in the forefront now is the branding of Cavan. So it means that when people think of Ireland or thinks of going anywhere, that they think of possibly Dublin first, and your hope, I suppose, is to have them think of Cavan second, possibly third.
Well, that would be the ideal. I mean, we're coming from a low base, let's be honest about it, we know that. If we can get Cavan up that ladder, when people think of going for a weekend or think of coming home or coming from outside of Ireland, that Cavan, which really I think is a place that you can get a taste of the real Ireland now. I mean, I was in Galway at the Volvo boat race last Saturday or last Sunday. It was a good event, a lovely event, but it's a city and it's crowded and it's not the real authentic Ireland. I think Cavan has that in buckets, so we have a great product to market over the community.
Yeah, so different initiative that might be just a walking tours of certain places, maybe tours of the historical and cultural places within the county, that some of them are going back a couple of thousand years, even older than Newgrange.
Yes, and maybe the gathering will help us to actually package some of those, because we have an awful lot to show in the county, but sometimes we don't put it together, we don't put it in front of people and say, well, that's the walk and here's the interpretation of the walk. The local historian might know it, but when a tourist comes to the county, that tourist has got to be able to pick up a leaflet to show where to go and make it
and get the person that has the professional knowledge of the area. Well, this is a work in progress in a sense, with 2013 and beyond. What is the next stage of this development?
Well, as you alluded to earlier on, we are going to introduce this branding of Cavan, and that effectively means getting a number of key messages out about Cavan, and also a certain image. Now, we have a very strong basis to work off in the flag, a lot of strong blue colours, for example, very they're kind of well known subconsciously by people out there. So that's a really important step, and that will mean that if we promise people abroad when they come to Cavan to be looked after, we have to deliver on it. So if a tourist comes to a small town, have we got the walks ready? Have we got the leaflets ready for them? So it's going to put the onus back on us when we do this branding as well. So it's all coming together.
You have good people. You have Martin Gaffney. You have also Marion Smith that's very proactive both at the playtime and presumably into the branding of Cavan and the gathering. And also you have the legacy of Martin Donoghue, who's a great ambassador for Cavan, probably worldwide now at this time.
Absolutely, we have the most wonderful people here, but let's be honest, the real heroes and heroines of the flag have been the people of Cavan themselves, who've come across and have been recognised as being the most generous hosts to have the flag for decades. And that's the basis of the gathering as well. It's not going to be people like myself. I don't come from the county, so I probably don't know that many Cavan.
But you can be influential, and you can be instrumental in supporting and giving confidence to people. So while you're trying to play down your role, it is a very important role.
Yes, it is, but a key role I think in moving the county forward, but particularly in the gathering, it's going to be that personal contact that somebody will ring up somebody abroad, or they'll go to the local development association and say, let's add on a little bit to our festival this year. Or some of the great ideas that I know we're going to hear tonight, they're all being formulated here in the background, as you know.
Well, thank you very much, Jack. Cavan TV will be well placed to support the process, and as you know, we have large numbers from abroad, and we hope to support the gathering plus the plan in August. So thank you very much for contributing to tonight.
Not at all. I'd like to just wish Cavan TV well, and I think I was speaking on behalf of many diaspora abroad. You're a great link for them with their native county, and it means an awful lot to people abroad who've said it to me when I travel. So well done in terms of your own company. You're providing a great service.
Thank you, Tom. Martin Donoghue, commonly referred to as Mr. Fla. You've been a great exponent of Fla Ceoil na hÉireann for the last 2 years, and this will be your final year.
Well, it'll be the final year in Cavan, right? But I go off to Derry, so I do next year, believe it or not. I'm on the team up there, and I've been at Fla's, Brian, probably since I was about 11 years of age, and I've seen them from Buncrana, Listowel, Enniscorthy, Sligo's, up to Tullamore and back to Cavan. So we've been very lucky. 3 years. It's hard to believe it's coming to an end, you know. Great team building skills and great friendships and some partnerships that will sustain in the future.
Now, you were instrumental in securing the Fla originally to come to Cavan, and you must be very happy with the way it has turned out in Cavan.
A dream come true, really a dream come true, and thanks again to the amount of people that had to educate themselves what a Fla was. When I talked about this Fla 9 years ago, when I sent Ger Finn as a request with Rhonda Tidy and Katrina Riley up to Letterkenny so that Jack Keys could see footage, when I went into Jack Keys' office and told him he was going to have a Fla, they are great memories. But to see it happen now and to see it praised both on the media forum and from the people that attended, it's estimated it's worth 40 million to the economy around here. Businesses will never forget the Fla, and it is a dream come true.
Now, the gathering is a completely different vehicle for getting people to come to Ireland. How do you see that working for County Cavan?
Well, I suppose the first thing we'll have to do is go down to grassroots. Personally, this room tonight is full of people. It's an amazing turnout. I had the pleasure of emceeing it at the start. I was impressed with the attendance because in Cavan we have a tradition of sitting on our hands. So this event is happening. It's happening in Ireland first of all, but it wants people overseas to come back home. And if it's only the 3 or 4 of us here, that's a gathering. So she made the point earlier that if you had a birthday and you brought one person from overseas home for your birthday, and if everybody in Ireland done that, wouldn't there be some result? That's how simple it can be for people watching this, or maybe saying, well, I'm not going to get involved, I don't need any work, I don't need to sit on a committee. Well, you will have to do work and you will have to sit on a committee, because it doesn't happen otherwise. Now, people down here will come up with ideas, and it could be something like what they're doing in Clare. They're going to have a big spree and they're going to celebrate their culture and tradition. Irish music could fit into Cavan very well. I'd love to do something out at Killikeen. I'd love to celebrate West Cavan. I'd love to see us go over there. So there's County Cavan to me from east to west, and not only the central town, all the focus towns around. Killishandle's positive, Turbo's positive, Mount Nugent's positive, Ballinya's positive. Why can we not have some great events? They mentioned here they'd love to see 10 festivals happen, major festivals in the year, roughly one a month, you say, with a couple of quiet months. Now that's a big undertaking. But if you look at the moment, Brian, we probably have 5 or 6 happening already.
Right. Now, music is one of the key ingredients in the success of the Fla. So how do you see the music component that you're such an exponent of being instrumental in the success of the gathering in 2013 and beyond, of course?
Well, hopefully people will remember Cavan as a designation where they came. There has been visitors home. The family have returned from all over the world, from Australia. They've come home to the Fla, and hopefully next year people will say the music has great memories, and we will remember the memories much long after all the paper and all the YouTube clips and everything is forgot. It's the memories people will store in their heart first of all, and music, song and dance, our own culture will do that, Brian, and it will draw people home, because there's a huge explosion in County Cavan and the border areas. From Anna's part of this, Monaghan, you go up to Westmeath, Meath, Longford, Leitrim. This whole area has a numerous classes and youngsters playing, and there is something to come home to. There is something. If John Clancy's watching this now, and he's a great man for the internet, John's over in Foley's Bar, he's on Facebook, he'll be telling people, come back home this summer, because the fla might be gone, but there's going to be some great crack, and that's what we need in Ireland. We need to forget about, we need to gossip, we need to talk and meet each other, and we need to say, come back home to Cavan.
Now, there's been a great skill set built up with people behind the fla, the different committees that have organised it, and would you see that they'll be instrumental in being the success of the gathering in Cavan, those individuals that have gained that experience?
Well, it'd be a shame if there were. I know people are tired. You know, this is 4 years going on, the All Ireland fla. It was 2009 planning it, 3 years. Those people, you know, some of them may take a back seat, and I would understand that, you know, but I don't think at the end of the day, if there's passion in their county, and there is, and the Brandon's there, you know, look at the people, you see Cavan, that scene there is Cavan town. People talk, somebody said to me, is that Grafton Street? No, that's actually Cavan town. You know, and there's a pride, whether it's from the horticulturist Bernie McGovern, or whether it's from the traffic warden, there's a pride in the town. And I believe the people that worked on the fla and learned a lot, they learned how to coordinate a major event, 300,000 people. I still think some of them, not all of them, some of them are entitled to rest. But with Jack Keys and Paddy Connington, and with all the people from the fringe events and all the communities, I think it'll be great. And the will work.
So the gathering, because of Cavan's tradition so far with the fla, would probably be a success into the coming year.
Well, I know there's a need for it, and at the end of the day, anyone in business, whether it's us selling CDs, whether it's us making music, whether it's a bride and groom wanting entertainment, we need people to hear and see what we have to offer. And Cavan, County Cavan and areas need people to come home and spend money, because if we don't, somebody was saying to me, after the fla's gone, we might as well lock the doors of Cavan. Oh, we close the gates. Well, Cavan survived before the fla, and we waited over 60 years.
And the gathering is a great opportunity.
Yes. Now buy into it and listen to what's out on the web. Get your little leaflets. But believe me, this gathering is happening. It's great for Ireland. It's an Irish thing. It's north and south. And as I say, if it's only a few people meeting, it's a night worth happening.
Martin Donoghue, thank you very much.
Good luck with all, Brian.
Now with Imelda, head of engagement of the gathering in the Hotel Kilmore, you must be pleased with the turnout in Cavan here tonight.
Delighted, even better than expected actually. So there's about 150, 160 people here tonight actually. So and the enthusiasm in the room is absolutely brilliant, and everybody coming up with some great ideas. So great turnout. So absolutely delighted.
But possibly Cavan, as you would know, we've hosted the fla for the last 2 years, and this is the final year, so people know what's involved and the importance of engaging with a process like this.
Yeah, and actually I think that's one of the things we're very excited about coming into Cavan, because you've got the expertise and the history of organising great events in Cavan. So and next year I know with the fla not here, so you've got loads of time, everybody's loads of time in their hands, they'll be able to organise loads of gatherings. But the gathering as well, it's not just about sort of organising big events, and the big events are brilliant like the fla, but it's about everybody and all the individuals that were involved in the fla. Say for instance, it's about them themselves organising their own little gatherings and reaching out and inviting their friends, their family, their connections and everything home to Ireland in 2015.
Yeah, well, it's evident from tonight that even community groups, apart from the hospitality, which are the normal ones that benefit from these events, there seem to be quite a number from community groups that might organise small local events so that they can encourage people to come home and participate in their activities.
Exactly. And we've been engaging and talking to organisations at national level, like the GAA, so for instance, and I know there's some local GAA reps here today, and the GAA at national level are going to be organising a big inter-club competition that will be taking place in every county in Ireland as well. So it's associations and groups like that, just as an example, who, you know, they have their connections and their networks all over the world, and GAA teams all over the world, so they'll be inviting them home hopefully to sort of have a county club competition.
Yeah, because they have indicated that we do some work with the GAA on a sport programme, and they had some concerns about the number of people having to emigrate. So these type of things, that maybe once a year that a member from their own community might come home to their local event as part of the gathering.
That's it, exactly. Like I know already some people over in Germany, and they're involved in the GAA club in Munich. and they already have got sort of letters from their GA club in Munich saying, okay, we're organising a team, we're coming home and we're going to sort of play in the interclub competition in 2013 next year.
Right,
so
right.
there's great excitement, and it's people like that as the Irish like that, we're involved in Irish clubs and various organisations around the world as well. And it's about us in the clubs and associations in Ireland, but reaching out and organising a gathering that would bring them home as relevant to them.
So the momentum that they have with them coming home might encourage others to come with them.
Exactly, that's it. Bring the families and friends, as many people as possible.
And the response nationally to this?
Has been great. As I said, we're talking to the way sort of it's working. We've got a sort of what we call a partners program, and we've been working and talking to people, national organisations, from corporate companies like KPMG to universities to, as I said, organisations and associations as well at national level, and they're all committing to organising their own gatherings and also spreading the word for us. So you take the big corporate companies like KPMG or PwC, say for instance, they've committed to organising their own alumni event, and anyone who ever trained or worked with them and are now around the world bringing them home for a big event. So all organisations, from DAA to off the top of my head, but they're great interest.
So you hope to build on the number of people that have turned, the momentum that's really been created here tonight, and so you'll have follow-on things and follow-on support to different community groups that might make contact with you coming into 2013.
Well, this is it. I mean, it is very much up to the people themselves. I mean, they need to organise their own gatherings, but at the same time, we are there to support them and help them with tools and supports and websites and everything else. And also, we have a big marketing team behind us, so we'll be promoting and marketing the gathering all over the world and making sure that all the events and the gatherings that everybody, as individuals and associations are organising, they're seen by everybody all over the world. So we'll be supporting all the gatherings taking place.
So there's, in a sense, possibly a very bright future for Ireland tourism into 2013 and beyond.
I really hope so.
Imelda, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, Malachy, you're from Hotel and you're here for the gathering open meeting.
That's right. Brian, I was here tonight as a facilitator at a table, and the biggest problem as a facilitator was all the ideas that were coming forward. It was unbelievable, the ideas that were coming out, and it seemed to be the same situation around the table, around each table. And some of the ideas were going back to basics, going back to reinventing fish and chips to Cavan. There's a day for every day of the year in Cavan, and embracing families and children as well. And again, there was so many ideas coming forward. The biggest problem was narrowing it down. I think our second one we had was Ulster Fleadh. I think we're in a great position in the county to build on what we've built on with the county, with the All-Ireland Fleadh in Cavan Town, and an idea came through about staging Ulster Fleadh, preferably in Good. I think there's unanimous support for Good, because even from all the other areas that Good was in a great position to maybe host it.
The smaller towns are suffering a little bit with the present economic climate, but Good at one time with the fishing and a few other initiatives was a very prosperous town.
Oh yeah, very, very prosperous, and tourism would be big in Good. We probably would have one of the biggest fishing festivals at the moment in the Good area, and they come from England and all over Europe. But we were thinking of maybe bringing that out further and expanding that throughout the county. To take in Butler's Bridge, to take in Downers, to take in Virginia, and package it as a county back to basics fishing company. Tourism that would bring in families, go use the huge resource we have in lakes and walks and all the heritage we have throughout the county.
So in a sense, while certain areas might have certain qualities, some might have historical, some might have archaeological, some might have even a music tradition.
Absolutely.
You would feel that each area should almost have its key strength developed to ensure that the numbers come from the gathering to that area.
Exactly it, and the coordination of each strength, that's the big challenge for the county, so that people won't come to your area specifically and stay 2 weeks, but they may stay 2 days or they may stay 3 days, and half income is better than no income, even if they go north of the border. And maybe I shouldn't say that. I mean, it's still important that we would attract them here for part of that holiday package. And if the more events we have throughout the county, the more interesting it will be for people who come here, experience the people, experience the wealth of heritage and walks, forestry, waters, and get that. That's absolutely a fierce investment for the future as well.
So America has already a foothold just outside of Foothill in the very successful Abbott factory, so marketing Foothill as a destination for Americans is probably a little easier.
Absolutely. The companies have a role to play here as well, where on our table there Martin Whelan from Whelan Footwear and Connie Whelan, directors of Whelan Footwear in Foothill. They're actually the only manufacturing company in Ireland for footwear at the moment, and it just came up like that. Small things like they're inviting customers that might be 20 customers that may come every 5 years. Why not encourage them next year? Why not bring them next year, 2013, and maybe encourage them to come more often? So that.
But they have a very successful tribute to their father, Jerry Whelan. They have a successful musical event every year, and that's built on his dedication to cultists as well and to Paz. So as well as the fishing and waterway, there is a musical tradition in town as well.
There is, and that has to be built on. Again, the experience that was gained at Ireland Flat is invaluable. Like what the County Council have done here for the last 2 or 3 years has really marketed Cavan throughout the world. We need to keep the momentum going on that and add to that with festivals that people can come to. And
so you would see that working closely with the steering committee in Cavan to highlight the qualities that Foothill would have to ensure that at least one, if not maybe a second festival will be showcased in Foothill.
That's right. And again, complement the company festival, complement Butler's Bridge fishing, complement the whole county down, and that's what we need. We're too small a county to have
to fall out among.
No, we need a bigger event that will incorporate the whole county, and that each town would stand up and deliver on their part of the festival.
So you would see that a coordinated approach would benefit each town. Okay, man.
Thank you, Martin.
The Cavan County Council, just newly elected. You must be very happy with the turnout this evening.
It's a very successful turnout here in the Hotel Kilmore tonight. A lot of people from a lot of different backgrounds and from all over the county come here to give their opinions on what should be a part of the gathering for next year. There's a lot of diverse opinions coming at what should be and what could take place, and I suppose everybody's putting their ideas together and bouncing them off other people, and that in itself is giving us a lot of room for debate on it.
Now, you're a Virginia man, and they have the 400th anniversary this year, and there's some very good events taking place this year.
Yes, that's just in one part of the county. We have the 400th anniversary is taking place, and events are taking place all during the year in relation to the history of the town. And also the Pumpkin Festival openly coming up in October, and Virginia Show, which of course runs every September. So that will be Virginia's part, I suppose, the gathering for next year as well.
And now, as
other events.
As Cahill, now you're responsible for all of the county now. So if you do something in Virginia, Belturbet, Chandra, Foothill will be saying, why is Paddy not? So you must have the fact that the gathering is taking place. There'll be a lot of activities in a number of locations throughout the county.
Yes, it's not just Virginia; it's all over the county, and I would hope that all the communities throughout the county will pull together on this, because it is worthwhile doing. If it's only a family reunion, and that's a small thing, because we have such a few, our families are scattered all over the world, and that if we just get even got our own families to come home in itself, and that's just one small part of it, I think that would make a huge difference in the communities.
Right, so you would see your role within the county as a key motivator for community groups and organisations to take part in the gathering?
Well, wherever I'm wanted, I'll go to it, because I do see it as part of my job as chairman of Cavan County Council, particularly for this event, because as we all know, it is quite difficult at the moment, and if we can motivate our people abroad to come home, no matter what the event is, a school reunion, family gathering, or even a football club reunion, I think it's the smaller events that will bring the people back home. But if we have other events that are there every year, then that can coincide with their return home, it will make that trip even more worthwhile.
So Paddy, you may get an A4 diary for the end of this year and 2013.
I will indeed, and looking forward to it as well.
Paddy Riley, Cahill, Cavan Cavan County Council. Thank you. John Horan, you're on the gathering committee, and it's a great initiative for Ireland and for Cavan. It's a great turnout tonight.
Yeah, well, there was a very large turnout, and it's great to hear all the ideas. So I'm hoping that it goes further to the steering committee now, and that we can come together as a group and work on it further.
Yeah, they seem to be county-wide, which is unusual because sometimes people hear of different things and they might say, sure, what's in it for me? But there seem to be people from every town and village in the county.
There was a lot of people involved with the GA festivals, arts, literature, ICA, lots of different people here, and I think they all have a genuine interest in seeing more people come back to the county for the benefit of the county.
And the statutory bodies, including your own, you will see that they may have a role in supporting some of it or assisting maybe the skills that they have in supporting some of the initiatives.
Well, this is the first step, really, I suppose, from getting the ideas from the wider community and bringing them back to the steering committee, and from that we'll see what maybe Cavan Leader can do to assist the overall initiatives that may be coming from this room, and when things are broken down into more workable ideas. But of course everybody can go away and organise a small event on their own back, but it's looking for the larger events, and those that need support, and we're looking to see from a rural development point of view how we can step in and support in any way that we can.
Yeah, but the local, the FLA being so successful for the last 2 years, and this year it's a 10-year event. There's a lot of experience built up within the communities through different committees, and that is carried over into other areas. So you will probably see some initiatives from that coming to you.
Well, there'll be a lot more professional approach. Of course, that's what the FLA has brought us. It's brought us skills and knowledge in terms of festival event management, in terms of marketing, promotion, nationally, internationally. So a lot of these skills are actually within people locally in Cavan, and that can actually help the ideas to move forward to the next stage and maybe get it up and running. Actually, some of the ideas in advance of the FLA coming.
So you can see it as a catalyst to something better happening within the country.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Jim, thank you very much.
Okay,
Henry Healy, and part of the gathering is to get the diaspora to come from all over the world, but I suppose you encouraging the diaspora from America is very unique. Can you explain why that might be?
Yeah, I have a connection with President Barack Obama, and we were fortunate enough to convince him to come over to Ireland and to spend a day. And I suppose the idea of the gathering is to do it on a similar scale, is to bring people back to the homeland, to the old country, to places where they have an association with. Fortunate for us was President Obama had an association with our village. We got him to Moneygall. The thing for the nation is to reach out to those who have a connection to their villages. It doesn't have to be the President of the United States, it can be anybody. To see people come back, to Ireland, and the emotion they have and the feeling and warmth they receive when they come here is huge, and the face-to-face interaction is massive. I'm involved with a project called Ireland Reaching Out, and that's what we aim to do, is to bring it to local level, single parishes, and bring people back to the parish which they're associated with. So every parish in Ireland has someone that is left. We've over 70 million diaspora worldwide, and so these 70 million belong to some part of Ireland. So the aim of Ireland Reaching Out is to connect with those people. But the difference with Ireland Reaching Out is we're doing it through a reverse genealogy. We're actually going to search the records locally, connect and tell these people they have Irish ancestry, reach out to them and bring them back, encouraging them to come home, and that's the aim of the game.
Yeah, while they've been a relative of the number one person who's voted in the world, the President of the United States, was no guarantee that he may have come over. So you must have put a lot of work, or maybe committee members and family members must have put a lot of work in to ensure that the President of the United States visited Ireland.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, a lot of work goes into to getting the President here, but a lot of work will go into getting anybody here. It's not going to happen overnight. We do have to put our backs to the wheel. every community, every parish has to work and come together. We need to build our communities back up and make sure that when we do get these people back, that we are there as a community, united, with a smile on our face, and give them a warm welcome. What we're very famous for worldwide, our welcomes.
Now you're in Cavan here as part of the open day for the gathering, which is going to be the initiative for getting people to Ireland 2013 and beyond. So you would see that you would be good to support people and to link with them and let them see that by hard work and dedication that you can actually achieve a goal, albeit every community won't get a president of the United States over.
Yeah, that's it. My role is I'm a community activation leader with the Project Ireland Reaching Out, and what I aim to do is to connect with each parish and to tell them, yes, it is possible.
So it's families and people who might have thought about it and just encourage them and to try and motivate people to get involved and to come over.
Pretty much. And when you start looking into these records and researching and reaching out, you never know who you might find. Only this week, Bruce Springsteen, it has been discovered, has Irish roots, connection in Mullingar. George Clooney has roots in Kilkenny. So if the parishes, local parishes in Cavan, start connect with us in Ireland Reaching Out, we'll come and we'll assist them to go through these records, reach out, and we will. You never know who we could find out.
You'll be able to impart some of that knowledge and experience that you've gained to allow people to be able to think differently, how they can encourage people to come over.
Exactly. That's the whole concept of the project, is to think differently. Rather than having the diaspora looking for where they came from, we go and we tell the diaspora, you came from here, bring them back and attract them back to a local area which doesn't get too much tourism. It's not on the tourism map hugely, but by reaching out and connecting with these people who have an association to a parish, it brings them back to stay in that locality for a couple of days, and it flourishes and it benefits the economy. And next year, who knows, if that one person comes back, they might bring 2 people back with them the following year. Once you have a connection with that person, they will continue to come back.
And it's something to come over to, and encouragement through the gathering with different events. It's bound to please somebody that's maybe historic, or maybe talk about fishing here and music and arts and all different ones. So it's bound to be able to, if you have 1% liking something, if you have 20 things, you have automatically 20% of people might come over.
Exactly, but the one thing I suppose to remember is no matter how versatile the events are, that it's unique to the county or to the parish, and those people who have an association, it's very easy to bring them back once they have that connection.
So they might have a double connection, they might have a family connection, plus they might have the interest in the event that's been organised.
Pretty much, yeah. If they could have a double interest in both, and it's very easy to bring people back when they have some connection or some feeling of home to a certain town or place here in Cavan.
Well, Henry, thank you very much, and I hope we can build on the experience that you have, and that the committee will work with you and your to benefit Cavan in 2013 and beyond. John Cavan, you were a facilitator here tonight. You were very busy because there was a large number of people.
Yes, as a member of the steering committee, we were delighted with the large turnout tonight, with close to 160 people. So the facilitation process, we were quite busy in getting the warm contribution and generous contributions of so many people here.
Yeah, every table seemed to offer a suggestion, and some of them had a number of them, and they were only allowed, say, one, and you have gathered all that information, so you'll be busy in the next couple of weeks.
Yes, I suppose there's a nice task for the steering committee to have to take on board the wonderful contributions right across the county, and to see it firsthand. I suppose the warm appreciation that Cavan people have towards their county, and the task then of the steering committee is to drive that forward over the next couple of months with a view to bringing the gathering process together for County Cavan.
Yeah, so community groups might have worked on their own and developed some different programs or initiatives, but now with the support of the steering committee, it's bound to bring benefits to the county.
Immensely so. I suppose it was operating in a number of levels, really, starting off with the personal families bringing their old friends and family members abroad together onto community-based projects then, and then of course with the county approach being taken to build and support projects that are working at community level and to broaden and develop on the good work that they've been doing over the many previous years and bring a further Gloucester in the benefit of County Cavan and of course then the national gathering process itself.
Also, Cavan is fortunate in a sense that this initial meeting was held a couple of weeks before the FLA, and they've had up to 300,000 people on previous FLAs and maybe exceeded this year, so it's a great base to build from.
Of course it is, yeah, and like in the last 3 or 4 years, particularly with the leadership that the County Council have brought to the FLA itself and harnessing the excellent contributions from local musicians, the FLA has been a wonderful success, and that has been acknowledged by the fact that Cavan has been only staged, the only county to stage it 3 years in a row, but it has given a tremendous boost to the organising capabilities of the county, and this gathering initiative gives another opportunity for those talents to be brought to the forefront.
Yeah, well, Cavan TV streamed it for the last 2 years and had a tremendous viewing worldwide, and we're hoping to build on that this year and make a contribution to the gathering. So the viewership is there. It's now encouraging them to come home to see firsthand Ireland as a venue that would have a lot for them.
Yeah, the work of the FLA itself has completely broadened and embellished the county profile of the county itself, both internally and nationally, as you just alluded to. And this year's FLA and future events under the gathering will continue to do so.
Yeah, and the FLA has moved from the core coldest sort of events and is now large to 10 days, so that must be a great asset to trying to encourage people to come and view and take part.
Very much so, and as I suppose the challenge for Cavan moving forward is to find another event of that magnitude, to build upon the success, to harness the organisation capabilities that are there obviously within the county, but to build on the entrepreneurship spirit of the county and to move forward.
And to build on the skills that have been gained by the committees. I heard that the numbers of people involved in the committees, and they have gained a lot of experience, and when that's put to use in the gathering, it's bound to make a big difference.
The gathering initiative does give another further opportunity to the skill set that Cavan people have locally to bring further events to both local, national and international prominence, hopefully under the gathering initiative itself.
So John, from the gathering in the Kilmore Hotel, Marianne, you're one of the key people that's actually behind a lot of the things that you do, key work in organising, motivating, getting people to do things, background, support, a mentor, and you're here tonight, so you must be very pleased with the number of people that turned out.
Oh yeah, no, it was great success. I actually work in the Community and Enterprise Department. Paddy works in that department. He's the coordinator of the gathering. We were really impressed now with the turnout tonight. It just goes to show how enthusiastic the local Cavan people are about this, and there were some really good ideas that came out of tonight, so hopefully everyone can get on board. And it's about people really bringing their relatives home themselves. It's about people, we all have to do it ourselves. So it really was a great success tonight. Now a lot of brainstorming, and people really seem to enjoy it as well. You know.
Well, you have a lot of experience in community and enterprise, and even your recent event, the Roll of Honour, which is an event that was very, very successful. Plus a good number of other initiatives have proved to be very successful. So you would have to have confidence in 2013 and beyond with the gathering.
Yeah, well exactly, like between the Roll of Honour, which was a great event, we ran there last week, it was brilliant, and the amount of people that we got to come to that event, so much interest in it, and again that's people having an interest in history and tracing back to the roots, and you know, people who had died in the war, that even came out tonight about people tracing their roots, their Cavan heritage, so we're trying to encourage that, to get people to come home and trace their roots, maybe through the genealogy centre. We see how well Cavan can run events like that, and even with the flag, so we're hoping that going forward that the gathering will be just as successful.
Yeah, so that initiative alone would allow the people to talk about what happened in the First World War. They would have met friends, and they probably have had a number of locations throughout Europe. So now we're encouraging them to come back and to talk about what had happened, even family members. It could be a great contribution to the gathering.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot of it is word of mouth, so you never know, like from all the people who were even at the Roll of Honour event, they could even just be talking to their own family members, and they would have a huge interest in history. So you'd be surprised just how many people could come back then to look at even that sculpture and look up their history from even one single event like that. So we're hoping that with a lot of different events that we'll get a lot of people home to Cavan next year.
That's a very nice focal point within Cavan, and I suppose it builds on what the President Mary McAleese and the Queen and I think the Queen of Belgium unveiled a plaque in Belgium in recognition of the people who fought, and that's also a focal point. So Cavan now has its own place for people to call to and to remember those who passed away.
Yeah, which is lovely. Like there is the sculpture now where people can commemorate people who died during World War One. So it is great that we have our own place because maybe people weren't remembered before. So it is great that we have that. And last week was a great success and great event.
The UT Community and Enterprise is well placed to support the events in 2012 and beyond.
Yeah, definitely. We have a lot of experience running a lot of big events, so I think we'll be well equipped for the gathering.
Well, that's good news for Cavan. So thank you for speaking to Cavan TV.
Okay, thank you.
Now we're joined in the Hotel Kilmore by Mary and Anne-Marie. Mary is genealogy and Anne-Marie is heritage. Two important things as far as the diaspora abroad are concerned.
That's right, yes. We've been, in Cavan Genealogy, we've been involved in collecting data for the last 25 years, and for, I suppose, most of that time clients have been coming to us from all over the world, from within Ireland and from England, Scotland, Wales, the United States, Canada, Australia, tracing their Cavan ancestry. So we've got quite a large database of all of those people that have been with us down the years.
So you would have been networking with them, in a sense, networking with them to look up and support them and give them information. So there'd be quite a link built up at this stage with people.
Yes.
And so that they have a buy-in to Cavan or
already,
the field.
Yes. Yeah, there's quite a large network there. We would have, I suppose, over the years we would have, we probably have about 30,000 contacts now. A lot of these, I suppose, would be deceased or have moved on from their addresses.
But the family connections would still be there.
Yes.
Yeah. And now, Anne-Marie, on heritage, Cavan probably is maybe a hidden gem in a sense, in that, we'll say, the Burren in West Cavan have dwellings and human habitation going back for thousands of years, and some of them even earlier than the pyramids. You have the Koha, the burial mounds. You have quite a number of different places all over the county. So it must be, in a sense, easy for you and to be able to promote those things.
Absolutely, it's a hidden gem, as you quite rightly say there. A very diverse landscape from West Cavan, where you've got the mountains, through the wetlands down towards Lough Outher and Kilmore, and then onto the highlands in Ballybur and Shercock. A wealth of archaeological heritage and a wealth of built heritage as well, not forgetting the outstanding natural heritage as well. So my job as heritage officer is very easy to promote the heritage of the county, because it is one of the hidden gems in the country.
And apart from the archaeological thing that as we said, that goes back quite a bit of time, the scenery is breathtaking in places of Cavan, providing the weather is good, but there's some breathtaking scenery in the county.
Absolutely, and we're very pleased that we have the first international geopark. West Cavan is now part of the geopark up towards Fermanagh, their first cross-border geopark. And as I say, the wetlands and the lowlands down towards mid-Cavan, and the highlands then up around Shercock and Ballybur, and our beautiful drumlins, which we're renowned for in our lakelands.
Yeah, and of course the Shannon Pot must be a great attraction to people to see. I know what it does start in, I think, across the border, but it rises in County Cavan. And on the genealogy side of thing, would you notice that apart from people asking about their relatives, would they inquire, some of them that may not have had connections with Ireland for maybe a large number of years, would they have asked you or inquired about some of the things in Ireland? Because sometimes the tradition is that they still have the thatched cottage.
Absolutely, yeah, and a lot of them would think that, but they would be very interested in the general history of Ireland and in the local history, the local Cavan history as well, the history of the county, and particularly interested in their surnames, of course, and the origin of their surname. And they're fascinated with the whole idea of a townland. They think they think they're going to find a little town there. So that it's quite difficult to explain to them, particularly Americans and Australians, the idea of what a townland is.
Right. So you see that you might be able to pool your resources in the sense that people who and family members that you would have a contact over a period of time, that and working with the different committees and the steering group, that you could pool your resources to just take that little step further and say to people, we have something on in 2013, and it'd be great. We've had the President of the United States over following his routes, and a number of presidents that just take that one little step further and come to Ireland and see what we have on offer.
Absolutely, yeah. We've already pooled resources. At the moment we're pooling resources where Anne-Marie has, in conjunction with ourselves and the County Museum, we've organised a conference for just the first weekend of the FLA. It's called Melting Down, exploring themes of emigration, exile and place, and we might expand on that a little next year, because there was a lot of ideas floating around tonight about clan gatherings and a lot of references to genealogy and heritage of the county.
Mm-hmm.
So we might expand on that a bit next year.
Yeah, because we say that of St Killian's in Mulla, there's in Germany there's a lot of thought about that, and presumably if that was capitalised on, that's a pocket of people, and there's quite a number of other examples where say Irish, the hierarchy at the time, families that had to move away, that they would be in other parts of the world, that encouraged them to look up and come back.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Even in Europe, because we've had a lot of the early immigrants went to Europe, of course. A lot of them went for clerical training or as merchants. But even they mostly went from Munster, but they did go from this part of the country as well. So we've had some people who have Cavan ancestry living in Italy and France and Belgium.
And possibly because Ireland and maybe Cavan hadn't the Romans or various other. There's a different culture here that people, you could market it as a maybe unspoiled in a sense, but a tradition going back further that wasn't spoiled by other civilizations.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So Mary and Anne-Marie, you probably have a lot of work to do in 2013, and I'm sure your experience to be called upon by the committee.
Yeah, well, we're both on the steering committee, so there's a huge amount of ideas floating around there tonight.
So thank you very much for considering.
Thanks, Brian. Thank you.
Bye.